Hello, Laura Peters here from Dublin, Ireland, your friendly local Stampin' Up consultant. I want to show you how to make this really cool card. Now, I'm not going to do step-by-step decorating, and I'm actually not even going to use this stamp set. I'm going to show you how to do the technique that makes these pop-outs or sliders or whatever you want to call it. If you want a long-form step-by-step video, I will link you to the video in the comments of my friend who showed me how to do this in the first place. She has a step-by-step video. So, first thing we're gonna do is cut out all of your cardstock and then all of your designer paper, which I just cut 5 millimeters shorter than whatever I cut the cardstock, glue them all together. I made a decoration for the front, which I haven't glued yet. Oh, well, now's a chance for me to show you how I glue. When I glue, I just do one quick thin line, not too close to the edge because, come lay down, come on. She's feeling ornery today because I don't want it to squish out. Sorry for the doggy tippy tappies, lay down. The rest of my family is home, but they refuse to watch her, so we get her. Okay. That way, when I squish it down, the glue doesn't come shooting out the sides. So when this card is closed, this is what it's gonna look like. To make the mechanism, we need 17 centimeters by 3 centimeters 3 times. So, in case you didn't know, there's an arm here. Oh, now she's gonna eat. I am so sorry. You can stretch it out. We're gonna cut that at 17. Perfect. I don't need that for any of the other measurements and it's gonna get in my way, so I'm gonna close that back up. So this is 17 centimeters long. The way the measurements were given are and again in that other blog post if you wanna see it, but I'll give you my measurements also. 2 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters, 9.5 centimeters, 15 centimeters. I don't like measuring that way. I prefer to do it on the small side here if I can because there's more of the cardstock bumped up against this edge, which is more likely to give me a straight cut. So I'm gonna come measure 2 centimeters on this side. Oh my. And then I'm actually gonna come over here and do 7.5 centimeters. And if this is confusing for you, I'm sorry. You can do it the other way. Go see Carrie's blog. Then I'm gonna do 7.5 centimeters again and 2 centimeters again. So I'm measuring the 2 on this side, the 7.5 on this side to maximize the amount of cardstock that's against the edge here. All right, so now I have 4 score lines. I don't know if you can see them here. I'll highlight them here with my Sharpie, because no one is gonna see this, right? So I've got this big piece of paper with these 4 score lines. Whoop, that's not straight. Now I'm gonna cut all these into 3 centimeter strips. Just don't forget, cut, score. The dark one is your cutting blade, and the light one is your scoring blade. And actually, this doesn't even have to be 3 centimeters. It can be bigger if you want. I just remembered I needed paper to cut an arm with, and I don't have it here. And I didn't keep those measurements either. Okay, I'm back. I cut a few strips at 2.5 by 9, 10-ish. We're gonna trim them. So, the next step now, and this is the part that tricks me, is, let me line this up. Here's my sample one, so I can remember what to do. Okay. So right now, we're gonna take a dashed line about here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure this 1.5 centimeters from this score line. Okay? And we do not need, I left my ruler over there. So what I'm gonna do is take this score line, I'm gonna fold it so I can see it better because I didn't do a perfect job marking that with the marker. Okay, put that score line, no, I need a ruler. Guess what? I don't need a ruler. I have grid paper. So I'm gonna put my score line on any of these, actually. We'll do it here. And then I'm gonna go out 1.5 centimeters, and that's 3 of these blocks. Look, I was pretty close with my guess. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another score line like this. Okay, so I'm gonna take, I also cut too many arms. Look, I don't need the dog to make noise. I'm awful. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Do all 3 of these, sorry. Okay. 1.5 centimeters from left to right, though this is the 9.5 score line. Yeah. All right, so, and then I need 1.5 down too, don't I? I sure do. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. You know, like I actually did think this out ahead of time. You can't tell, can you? Okay. My little 1.5 dots. Make sure they're both in the track, and I'm going to do this. If you have a bone folder, great, do it that way. I don't trust myself to make solid lines, so because that's hard to see, I'm going to put a dashed line here where that is. All right, so that's the new score line that I just made. I'm gonna buzz through these really quickly here without making you watch. I'll fast forward. Okay, now if we've done it right, we're gonna fold all these straight up and down score lines. They should come together and make a box. Beautimous. And now this we want to tuck in. So we're gonna fold. Even with the score lines, it's a tricky fold. Okay, and then we wanna push that center bit back. Come on guys, cooperate with me. Ha ha, there we go. Woo. Kind of looks like a bullet train to me. Okay, so we've got this. Does that view make sense? What we've done there? Right. So this is again where we're going to use our tear and tape adhesive. If I can figure out where I tossed it, here it is. And sometimes I just tear off a big whack. In my opinion, it does not matter which of these is flaps is on top and which is on bottom, as long as they're secured nicely. Come on, there we go. So now we've got a box with a divot in it. Then we're gonna secure that to this card the other way. Aha, see? Do you see this? I should have checked that first. I ran into this before too, where I'm not measuring quite nicely enough. And I need to take a little bit of paper off. So we're gonna start with just one of these other ones that I did. So you know what, I'm gonna change that. Instead of 17, we're gonna call it 16.5 because I do that every time. Too small for me to tear with my fingers. Okay. So we're gonna say that this is 3 by 16.5. And let's go ahead and fold this center one both ways to make that easier this time. Learn by mistakes. Okay. Did I make that too far over? Probably did. Put the tape at the end of the flap you want on the outside. Make it better. There we go. okay? So when we put the tape at the end, now we have a rectangle. We folded this both ways, so it should fold nicely for us. Woohoo! Folding in, right? Now we're gonna secure it. Definitely using the tear and tape at this also. Come on. I'm gonna leave mine just a little bit from the edge so that this for sure won't show, especially since I put marker all over it. We wanna put the arm on now. So this is the card closed because I can't remember otherwise. All right, this is the card closed. And when we open it, we want it to swing out like that, right? So I'm gonna put just a teeny tiny bit of glue here. So when we have it open, can you see here, you can see that red line is hanging off the side of the card. The triangle on the left is where we wanna put our tape. Not too much because we don't want it to overhang. If I cut this at an angle, fit it even better. Trim off this extra bit. We do not want anything hanging over because it will make the card stick the way we don't want it. All right, so now I'm glad I did all these red lines because making it easy for me to describe what we're gonna do. Okay, so okay, here's the edited version. If I jumped away and came back now, you know why. That's also why there's torn paper here, because I haven't practiced this since the last time I did it, and I should have. So first of all, we've made our folds, okay? So we've got that in there. I'm gonna put my tape, I'm gonna lie this flat, put my tape here-ish, kind of in the middle, and then try to, oh, see, yeah, this is a little too long. We're gonna go with 16.5 instead of 17. Lay it flat, then close the tape. Okay, now we're cooking. So if we get this laying open, cut my tape. I'm gonna cut a little angle here so I can nest it in. This left side, sorry, I'm gonna turn it a little just to make it easier for me to work, is where we want the tape, okay? And I'm gonna cut this off. And we're gonna put our arm on. Start over with a different arm so that it lines up with the top with this 9.5 score line. And the top right there. So now if you have measured properly at 1.5 and 1.5, your arm will go up like this. Woo! Glad we finally got there. Hopefully I edited this out so you guys didn't see all mistakes. All right, save you that hassle. Now that I've tested this and I know it's working, this is open. This is closed. This does not get stuck. This does not get stuck. Only this gets stuck. I would not trust glue in this situation. This project is lots of tear and tape. I used glue to put these layers together. Okay, closed with the arm up. I find it easier if I have this on first because otherwise I forget what I'm doing. I'm gonna line this up with the designer paper because I do not want this red mark that I made to show. I know that's super high, we're gonna trim it, don't worry. Closed, open, closed, open, yay! Oh my goodness gracious. So what has just caused me all this grief that I edited out was that I did not cut this score line nicely. I didn't measure properly. And so it did not fold properly, and my arm was at a weird angle, which would have shown. So you really need to make sure that you've got those correct. Go ahead and put, so if the whole thing is laying flat, your tape, which of course I cut at the wrong angle, we'll just use those over here. Okay. I want this angle. There we go. You don't need to cut at an angle. And in fact, this time I cut the angle too steep. And look, the tape is stuck to my finger instead of the card. Oh my goodness gracious. You know, if you make mistakes, don't feel bad. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. Obviously I'm not, but I've been doing this for like 20 years and I still make these stupid mistakes. So, also, if you're feeling bad about a mistake on your card, I've said it before and I'll say it again, anybody's gonna complain about my artwork does not deserve my artwork. All right, so we've got a piece of tape right here on the left triangle. We've got some tape right here. I'm gonna unmask these. Lie it flat. So this is the 9.5 score line. Here's one of my triangles, okay? I've got this flat, I've got tape right here. That way I make sure it's gonna lie flat when the card is closed. All right, make sure this is going in, which we've already scored before. We're going to, why are you not lying flat that way? Come on guys, give me a break. Put one of our little armies here. Okay. When I've got both triangles showing, that's the open position, and so we want the arm sticking out. And then close. Whoop. Beautimous. All right, so here's how we do it. Now we want lots more tape. I'm gonna put it all the way to this left edge. Yes, I had to think about that. I'm about a little bit here at the end, and I'm gonna make this one go here. Can you see where my tape is? Okay. Come off. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stand this up to make sure that I have the bottoms lined up nicely. Okay. Whoop, I scooched it. Why is it not? Okay. Press it together before I put it down. That seems to be my problem. Now, yay, we're doing it right. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's do this one all at once. All the tape at once, I mean. So we want, if our arm is pointing up, we want the tape between here and this red line, and then we're gonna turn it over and do between the left edge and this red line, okay? I'll just stick you in the middle. Do not put any tape here. That's the difference between the two sides. I'm not very good at eyeballing my tape needs. And again, the reason I put these arms on before I tape them is because that helps me remember which is open and which is closed. I was gonna try to make you a really brief video here, but it's kind of a long process. So again, I'm gonna line this up with my DSP layer. And now it's ready for the next layer. Make sure you're doing the next biggest. I will say at the end of this, it is a little bit bulky. And I have posted one. I have not gotten a thank you, but I also have not gotten a return, so I'm not sure if it worked. Crossing my fingers. Where's the one? That's the one that I messed up. That one, did I mess that one up too? No, that is the one that I messed up. Okay, I have to go make another one real quick. Be right back. Okay, now I've got all my layers glued together. Everything's working the way it should. Now we need to attach our decoration. Now, I'm gonna let you know, I made these flowers ahead of time, but I have never tried one of these with these flowers. Where's my third flower? I have a third flower. So here's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trim this to the top. So I trimmed this off so it won't show. I'm gonna trim this one to here. Okay, at this one I'm gonna leave for the moment because it will be covered up by our central decoration, at least to some point. Okay, so let's say to there. So we want it to go at least to there. So now when our decoration is on and everything is closed, we don't see any of the arms. All right, now here's the other thing I'm gonna do. I have this really cool temporary adhesive tape. Okay. So I've had this for absolutely ages. These roses are kind of big. I'm worried about them not fitting, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this temporary tape in all of these arms to test it before we start gluing down. I'm gonna say here, because I think that is too long. When I did this with the wild bunch, it wasn't an issue because they are much smaller, but that was a monthly special and you might not be able to get it anymore. These particular roses are also a monthly special, but we have no shortage of flowers, do we? You know what? I have so many flower stamps and I keep going back for more. Oh, get off of here. There we go. All right, so I've got my temporary adhesive down. Now I intentionally put the flowers, the leaves on that side because I thought they might be hidden, but now they're sticking way far out. But the nice thing is I can still see, I was worried about that flower getting hidden just like that. These are a little too big. How about we angle it like that so the flower's down a little bit. That one can be out. And this one can be like that. All right, what happens if we close it? Do they fit? All right, that one's obviously sticking out, but remember this is gonna be here. That works. I might move that one in a little bit anyways because it's blocking this flower. So I'm gonna put this flower right up to this line. All right, you off of there. So now what I'm gonna do is just glue all these in place. No, I'm not gonna glue them. I'm gonna use this tape because, like I said, maybe I didn't say, I don't want any glue where it's gonna get in the way of my mechanisms. And I don't know about you, but I am not always a very neat gluer. All right, I want you to show all the way, but just barely. All right, and then I'm gonna trim this off where we don't need it. This one, can we get away with this flower being a little bit further out? Let's try it. I don't like him being sideways like that. I should have done this before I added the flowers, the leaves. If we close it, is he hidden? Sometimes the fold wants to go the wrong way and you need to give it just a little bit of help to close. Let's put our sticking out just a tiny bit, isn't it? So we'll scooch that back just a tiny bit. So what I'm gonna do here is, see, there's the edge. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit hidden. And then I'll do the same thing with the last one. As you can see, when it's closed, some flowers are showing, but not once we put this on. And actually the nice thing about this shape is it gives me more leeway. See, the circle doesn't give me quite as much, but they're so little. They all still show. God, they're so cute. Now, I made the mistake of going back and coloring in their eyes with black marker because I thought they weren't bold enough, and now they look a little bit like demons, but shh, that's okay. People probably won't see that if I don't point it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and use my tear and tape again. I'm a little nervous about this one though, because here, I'm gonna do it like this. I need to put it so the point is all the way at the top, or it does not hide my leaf. So here's the corner and here's the edge of the paper. So if I tape up to this corner, I will be safe. There we go. A little bit more. Because we've got just this section of tape holding up the whole diamond. I don't know, what shape would you call this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagon? Diamond sounds nicer. Okay, I'm eyeballing this. Come down. I'm worried if it points, if it's higher, it might not fit in the envelope. What do you think? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. I thought that was perfect. This is one of the sentiments that comes with the set, which is called, I don't know what, it'll be in the comments or in the description. And I looked it up, and Yellow Roses says like joy and friendship and all of that. Okay, ready? Ready? Look, I sent you a whole bouquet. Whoosh. Isn't that adorable? And then they can sit it sits so nicely on the counter like this. Or the counter, the mantle. The pride of place where they will put this piece of art that you worked so hard to make just for them, right? Oh, and don't forget on the back, I didn't do it on this one. You need a piece of white to write your message on it. Look, isn't he so cute in the little corner? If you have the chance to still get Cutest Crew, I highly recommend it. They're so adorable. I don't even like coloring, and I still had fun with this. You can put the little rosebuds here in the corner or something. I do recommend that you stamp your message or stamp whatever you're going to stamp before you glue it on, because look at that, it's chunky, and that is definitely going to get in the way of your stamps. So, what do you think? I tweaked the measurements a little bit between this card and this card because I wanted them just to be more even. Is that what I did? I don't know. Anyways. But I think this is a really fun card. Thank you so much, Carrie, for demonstrating this in the first place. There is a link to her full long video, as if my video wasn't long. I thought I could make it short, but let's face it, it's a long process. Her full video is in the description if you would like to go visit that. Thanks so much, and happy stamping. Okay, I'm going to show you two things here. First of all, sorry, my doggy is tip-tapping around the kitchen there. I have some masking paper here. So this is sticky on the back, papery on the front. Not nice papery like I would actually stamp with, but that's not the point here. So I'm also going to do a two-step stamping. So I've got a stamp here that has 2 layers, and I have found that the smaller one is the darker layer, and I want to, oh, sorry about that. I want to stamp off here for the second layer because I want to use the same color for both of these. So I'm going to ink it like normal, do a quick stamp over there, and then with the remaining ink, I'm going to line it up. Ruby, sit down. Your tip tapping is so loud. Okay, so now I have the full image that I want to use. Really for cutting out purposes, I should have just made them both dark to make the lines easier to see, but I wanted to show you the two-step stamping in case you haven't used that before. So this is just a piece of scrap paper and that's gone. Get my little paper snips here and I'm gonna cut it out. Now I'm gonna take this over here. I'm gonna stamp my image again. So I need that scrap paper back, don't I? Okay, so this is the stamp set I'm using. The smaller one is the darker in this case. So let's get, I'm gonna cut this out so it doesn't matter if it's centered on the paper. Again, I'm going to stamp that off. I need to stand over it to see what I'm doing here. This would be a really great time to use my stamping platform. There, I think. Let's see how that turns out. Hey, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got these cutie little rose buds coming out the side that I think would look nice. Yeah. So I want them to look like they're coming from behind. Oh, sugar. If I had planned this better, there's a big seam right down the middle of the paper to make it easier for you to peel, and I did not center my image on that, so now the backing is going to be a little bit harder to peel off, but that's okay. There we go, I got it. So now this is my masking paper. It's nice and sticky. I'm going to line that up over the image that I cut. Trying to get a few key little areas here, keeping my eye on. And it's not exact, but it's close enough. So now I want to have these little cutesy rosebuds coming out of the side. Should we stamp the leaf first? That probably makes sense, doesn't it? Let's stamp the leaf first. That's upside down. Coming out like this, and we'll have another one, I think, up here. What do you think? I'm going with it. All right. Now there's a second leaf. We can put coming off, which is the top and which is the bottom. I think that's the bottom. Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, we're calling that the bottom. And that will go, I just realized that might be where the bud is supposed to go. Yep, the two buds are supposed to go like that. That's okay. One has two buds and one has one bud. Not a problem. So, this one, we're gonna line up the buds properly this time. Some beautiful little rosebuds coming off. And over here, how are we gonna do this? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cover up the second flower. This is the back of my masking paper that I just peeled off, that I'm just using to block this other stamp. Because I didn't wanna take the time to make another mask. There we go. I think that looks nice. What do you think? So now what we're gonna do is peel this off. Save that, put that aside and save it for next time. And now it looks like these leaves are coming from behind that rose. Okay, I'm in a bit of a predicament here. I am prepping my card and I can't find the circles that I love. So I decided to make it a diamond, but guess what? My diamond is too big. And if I cut the whole thing shorter, the image will be cut off. So I'm gonna make a custom shape here and just cut off these corners and we're gonna go with it. But I wanna show you how I'm cutting off these corners. So as you can see, I've got lines going all the way down here. So I'm gonna use those to make this shape better. English. Okay, so let's see, here's the 2-inch mark and here's the 2-inch mark. 2 inches here, 2 inches here. Let me make sure I'm on the same one for each one so that I know when I lop off this corner. Oh my goodness, it popped my whole arm off. Well, it's a good thing it's meant to come off. I don't think that's gonna be enough though, is it? It is not. So let's do that at 1 3/4 instead. Take just a little bit more off. Now let's do the same thing this way. 1 3/4. 1 3/4 here. This is the 1 3/4 line here. Bye-bye, bud. Let's see. There we go. So now, we gotta do it for this bad boy too. What I'm gonna do is, see if it looks nice there because I put this in centimeters, but my lines are for inches. So we're gonna go halfway between 1 3/4 and 2. Okay, halfway between 1 3/4 and 2. Obviously, I'm just eyeballing that kind of. All right, let's put this back together. Look, you're shining like a diamond. Ooh, and now it will fit. Ta-da! Okay, earlier I said I'm gonna cut it this way and then I'm gonna flip it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I realized if I'm cutting it down to 16.5, that won't work. So let me show you what to do instead. So we're gonna cut the whole thing. We'll make the whole thing go this way. We'll go 2, 7.5, 9.5, 15, and then I'm gonna put it at 16.5 and cut. Okay, so that's the way we will score things.